Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight, live from the BSP. We're so happy to have you here for a reading of Bubba Heard a Reindeer Eating His Kibble. Let's start. First of all, words by Bubba's dad. Illustrations by Farron Hughes. Okay. Chapter 1. It was 3 days after Christmas, and Bubba wasn't feeling very well. He had an upset tummy because he had eaten a gently used Christmas cookie that he found under the sofa. And he was feeling a little blue because he didn't get everything that was on his Christmas list. He had asked Santa for 2 things: a new monkey toy to play with, which he got, and a new antler to chew on, which he didn't. "What's wrong, Bubba?" asked his new monkey toy. "Don't you want to play?" "Not really," said Bubba. "I sure wish I had a new antler to chew on. Chewing on a new antler always makes me feel better." "You can chew on my tail if you want," said the new monkey toy, trying to be helpful. "No, thank you," sighed Bubba as he put his head on the floor and closed his eyes. While the new monkey toy sat on top of Bubba's head and played with his big Bubba ears, Bubba tried to think about things other than gently used cookies and his touchy Frenchie's tummy and not getting everything on his Christmas list. And that's when he heard it. It was a sound coming from the kitchen upstairs. It was a sound he wasn't expecting. So he listened more carefully. When the monkey toy pulled on his left ear, he listened with his right ear. "Is that what I think I hear?" he thought to himself. And when the monkey toy pulled on his right ear, he listened with his left ear. "It sure sounds like what I think I hear," he thought. Bubba shook his head back and forth, causing his big Bubba ears to flap loudly and sending his new monkey toy flying across the room. Now with both ears free, Bubba listened very carefully. For the first time in his life, he couldn't believe his Bubba ears. There was someone or something eating his Bubba kibble out of his Bubba bowl. The monkey toy followed Bubba's gaze up the steps to the kitchen. "Bubba, who's up there?" "I don't know, monkey toy," Bubba said, "but we're about to find out." Chapter 2. Bubba zoomed across the slippery kitchen floor with the monkey toy clutching his collar. They slid to a stop in front of Bubba's kibble bowl. "What the monkey!" Bubba exclaimed. "It's empty!" "Bubba, who ate your kibble?" shouted the monkey toy. Bubba sniffed furiously around the bowl with a bunch of loud, snorty Frenchy sniffs. "I'm not sure. I've never smelled this smell before," said Bubba. He followed the smell out of the kitchen across the dining room to the sunroom doors. That's where Bubba stopped. He had to be careful now. Bubba's mom had a Christmas tree in every room in the Bubba bungalow, but her biggest and best tree with her most precious ornaments was in the sunroom. Bubba slowly pushed open the French doors to the sunroom with his short Frenchy nose. He took a deep breath and peered inside. "I know you're in there," Bubba said. "Who are you?" For a moment, all was quiet. And then the big Christmas tree shook ever so slightly, and Bubba's mom's most precious ornaments tinkled ever so softly. "Come out. I won't hurt you," Bubba said as calmly as he could. And that's when something amazing happened. A soft, velvety nose stuck out from under the tree, followed by 2 big brown eyes and 2 stubby little antlers with more velvet on top. Bubba's new monkey toy whispered loudly in his big Bubba ear, "It's a baby reindeer." Chapter 3. Bubba gingerly sniffed the soft velvety nose at his feet, and the soft velvety nose sniffed back. "Come out from under there, baby reindeer. Don't be scared," Bubba said gently. The ornaments on the tree tinkled as the baby reindeer wriggled out from under the branches. He was about the same size as Bubba, with a gray coat and a stubby reindeer tail. "What's your name?" asked Bubba. The baby reindeer blinked twice with his big brown eyes, but didn't say a word. "Reindeer can't talk, Bubba," whispered the monkey toy into his ear. "What do you mean? The reindeer with the red nose on TV talks," said Bubba. "That's just on TV. That's not real life," said the polka-dotted monkey toy. "Oh," said Bubba, looking at the baby reindeer. "How did you get here? Did Santa bring you?" The baby reindeer nodded his head up and down. Bubba thought for a moment. "Did you hide in his sleigh?" The baby reindeer nodded his head yes. "Why did you hide under our tree instead of going home with Santa?" The reindeer stared at the monkey toy peeking out from behind Bubba's ear. Bubba looked up over his shoulder at the monkey toy and sighed. He knew the kind of trouble monkey toys can get you in if you're not careful. Bubba shook his ears back and forth, sending the monkey toy tumbling to the ground between the reindeer's feet. "Did you trick the reindeer into staying?" he asked the monkey toy. "That was naughty." The monkey toy covered his mouth with both of his monkey paws. "I'm sorry," the monkey toy blurted out, and then covered his mouth again. Bubba shook his head. "Well, lesson learned, I guess." At that moment, Bubba's sensitive Frenchy tummy rumbled, and the baby reindeer's tummy rumbled too. "Are you hungry?" Bubba asked. The reindeer nodded his head quickly up and down. "Okay, let's figure out what you like to eat," said Bubba. "Then we will figure out how to get you back home." And with that, Bubba's stubby tail and the reindeer's stubby tail both wagged happily for the first time in 3 whole days. Chapter 4. Bubba knew just who to ask what reindeer eat for breakfast. All he had to do was pull on his winter coat and trudge through the snow across the street to ask his friend Brooklyn Cornelius. Corny was a super smart French bulldog who had the answer to everything. That's because he was a therapy dog who volunteered at the library. No matter what books kids wanted to read, Corny would sit with them and they would read them together. Those kids got super smart that way, and so did Corny. "Hi, Corny," said Bubba as his friend came down the front steps to his house. "Hi, Bubba," said Corny. Corny was wearing his red library volunteer bandana, yellow earmuffs, and carrying a big green backpack. "Nice reindeer," said Corny. "Thanks," said Bubba. "You're welcome," said Corny. "Do you know what reindeer like to eat?" asked Bubba. "No, but I can look it up," he said, digging through his big green backpack. When he found the book he was looking for, he sat down and turned a few pages. His paws skimmed the words and his lips moved while he read. When he was done reading, he looked up at Bubba and the baby reindeer. "It says here that reindeer like to eat green leafy plants, moss, and mushrooms." "Awesome," said Bubba. "Anything else you need to know?" asked Corny. "Just one thing," said Bubba. "How far is the North Pole from here?" Corny dug through his backpack again and pulled out a book filled with maps. He found the right map and traced a path to the North Pole with his paw. 3,117 miles, said Corny. Chapter 5. Bubba trudged through the snow back home. Then he pulled his green plastic sled out of the snow fort in the front yard. "We're going to need supplies and a way to carry them," Bubba explained to the baby reindeer. "We can take turns riding. I will pull first." So off they went with Bubba pulling the baby reindeer on the sled. The monkey toy was perched on top of his velvety antlers. After 2 blocks, they stopped at Oliver's pizza place. "Hi, Oliver," Bubba said, pushing open the front door. The delicious smell of pizza filled the air, and Bubba licked his short Frenchy nose. "Hi, Bubba," said Oliver. "Nice reindeer." "Thanks," said Bubba. "We need some pizza to go." "What kind?" asked Oliver. 3 green leafy moss and mushroom pizzas, 2 Bubba Kibble pizzas, and 1 banana coconut pizza. Bubba's monkey toy tugged on his ear and whispered something. With extra bananas, said Bubba. Got it, said Oliver. Then he twirled some pizza dough over his head and tossed it high in the air. Bubba, where are you going with all this pizza? Asked Oliver. The North Pole, said Bubba. Said Oliver, looking at his friend. Can I give you some advice, Bubba? Sure, said Bubba. Well, you may not know this, but life is like a pizza, smiled Oliver. It's more fun when you share. And you have to be careful not to bite off more than you can chew. Bubba tilted his head and thought about that a while. That's good advice. Thanks, Oliver. You're welcome, said Oliver as he pulled a green leafy moss and mushroom pizza out of the oven. Chapter 6. Bubba and the baby reindeer took turns pulling the sled piled high with pizza boxes. After what seemed like forever, they got to the top of a very steep, very snowy hill. Bubba, are we there yet? Asked the monkey toy, tugging on Bubba's ear. No, we're not there yet, said Bubba. How far do we have to go? Asked the monkey toy. 3,117 miles, said Bubba. How far have we gone so far? Asked the monkey toy. About 6 blocks, said Bubba. Bubba sat on his sled and pondered what to do next. This is a really steep hill, isn't it, Bubba? Asked the monkey toy. Yes, it is, said Bubba. How are we going to get to the bottom? Said the monkey. We are going to pull my sled carefully down the hill so we don't lose our pizza, said Bubba. The baby reindeer nodded his head in agreement. Or we could ride down the hill, the monkey toy suggested cheerfully. That would be faster and more fun. Bubba looked at the pizza boxes and shook his head doubtfully. I don't know, said Bubba. I think we need to be more careful than that. Before Bubba could finish, the monkey toy gave Bubba's sled a little shove and it started sliding down the big hill. What could go wrong? Shouted the monkey toy, jumping onto Bubba's head. As the sled picked up speed, the baby reindeer came bounding down the hill and jumped on board too. And that's when they started going really fast. And the bumps got bigger and the ride got scarier. Bubba steered this way and that as the sled zoomed down the steep hill, faster and faster. Suddenly, Bubba's eyes got very, very big. The biggest snow bump ever appeared, and there was no steering around it. Hold on, everybody, Bubba shouted. A split second later, Bubba, the baby reindeer, the monkey toy, and 3 different kinds of pizza were all tumbling over and over, high in the bright blue winter sky. Chapter 7. Mo was a very thoughtful pug, and a good neighbor too. That's why he was out shoveling the sidewalk for the neighborhood pugs who were too old to do it themselves. Mo wore a bright blue snowsuit that made him look almost as round as he was tall. It had little ears on top that stood straight up. Mo thought his snowsuit ears were funny, and like most pugs, he liked to make people laugh. So that's why he wore a snowsuit with funny ears. After shoveling a while, Mo leaned against his green plastic snow shovel to catch his breath. When he looked up at the sky, he saw the strangest thing. A French bulldog, a baby reindeer, a green polka-dotted monkey, and several pizzas went flying over his head. One by one, they plop, plop, plopped into a big snowbank a little farther down the street. Mo thought this was a strange development, so he walked down the sidewalk to investigate. When he got there, he found a stubby tail and 2 velvety antlers sticking out of the snow. He didn't recognize the antlers, but the stubby tail looked familiar. Bubba, is that you? Asked Mo. The stubby tail wagged back and forth. Do you need some help? The stubby tail wagged a little faster. Hold on, Bubba, said Mo as he started shoveling. Mo was a good shoveler, and in a couple of minutes, he had Bubba and the baby reindeer dug out of the snow. Nice reindeer, said Mo. Thanks, said Bubba. Where are you taking them? I'm trying to take him back home, said Bubba. All the way to the North Pole? Asked Mo. Yes, he's lost, and he can't get back home without my help, said Bubba. The baby reindeer blinked and sighed, feeling a little homesick. How far is that? Asked Mo. 3,117 miles, said the monkey toy, popping his head out of the snowbank. Thought Mo, leaning on his green plastic snow shovel. Wouldn't it be easier to send Santa a letter? Bubba tilted his head and thought for a moment. Brilliant, said Bubba. I never thought of that. Maybe you could ask Busy to help you, said Mo. His mom has paper and crayons and envelopes and stamps, too. That's another good idea, said Bubba. And with that, Mo helped Bubba gather up as much gently used pizza as they could find and sent him on his way to find Busy. Chapter 8. Busy was a very busy Frenchie. He was the official greeter at his mom's fabric store, and all day long he raced from the back to the front as customers came and went. This morning's first customer was an old friend of his. Hi, Bubba, said Busy. Hi, Busy, said Bubba. Nice reindeer, said Busy. Thanks, said Bubba. How can I help you? Asked Busy, the way his mom always did when customers came into the store. We were hoping you could help us mail a letter to Santa, said Bubba. This baby reindeer is lost and needs to get back home to the North Pole. I can help you with that, said Busy. Shipping and receiving is in the back. Please follow me. In the back of the store, there was a craft table and many rolls of brightly colored fabric. Busy hopped up on a stool next to the table. He took a piece of paper and placed it carefully in front of himself. Then he picked up a big, fat green crayon and held it in his paw. Okay, he said, let's get started. Busy put the big, fat green crayon against the paper and started writing. He said the words out loud as he wrote them. Dear Santa, did you lose a reindeer? Bubba found him for you. Sincerely, Busy and Bubba. P.S. We have been good boys this year. Busy looked at Bubba and the baby reindeer. What do you think? He asked. I think Santa will like that, said Bubba. The baby reindeer nodded his head up and down. Bubba's monkey toy nodded his head up and down too. Busy folded the letter and put it in an envelope. Then he wrote North Pole on the front in big green letters. I will put 2 stamps on it so it gets there extra fast, said Busy. When he was done, he handed the envelope to Bubba. There's a big blue mailbox at the end of the block. If you hurry, you can get there before the little white mail truck does. Thanks, said Bubba. You're welcome, said Busy. Please come again. Chapter 9. Bubba held the letter to Santa and looked up at the big blue mailbox. What are you thinking, Bubba? Asked the monkey toy. I'm thinking I'm too short to put this letter in the mailbox, said Bubba. I could climb to the top of the mailbox for you and very carefully put the letter to Santa inside, suggested the monkey toy cheerfully. Bubba shook his big Bubba ears, sending the monkey toy flying on top of a snowbank. No, thank you, monkey toy. I learned my lesson, Bubba said. While Bubba was pondering what to do next, he heard a voice that made his stubby Bubba tail wag super fast. Bubba, is that you? The voice called out. Mei Ling, is that you? Bubba called back. Bubba couldn't believe his luck. It was Mei Ling and her sisters Nico and Lily, the Frenchie Pile Agility team. And they were doing front flips down the sidewalk and headed straight for him. When they got there, they landed 1, 2, 3 right on top of each other, forming a perfectly balanced tower of Frenchies. Oh, my dog, am I happy to see you, said Bubba. We have to put this letter to Santa in that little door way up there. Can you help? We sure can, said Mei-Ling from the bottom of the Frenchy tower. You betcha, said Nico from the middle. Nice reindeer, said Lily, looking down from the top. Thank you, said Bubba. Before he could say anything else, Bubba's very big ears perked up and listened very carefully. Off in the distance, he could hear the little white mail truck heading in their direction. Uh-oh, we have to hurry, said Bubba. Don't worry, Bubba, we got this, said Mei-Ling. Then she looked up at her sisters and barked, Girls, are you ready? Ready, barked Nico and Lily as they somersaulted to the ground. Bubba, we're going to need your help too, said Mei-Ling. Give the letter to Lily, she instructed. Now stand here in front of the big blue mailbox. You're going to be the base, and we're going to pile on top. Can you do it? I think so, said Bubba. Okay, team, let's go, Mei-Ling barked. What happened next was pretty amazing. Mei-Ling did a backflip and landed firmly on top of Bubba. Nico did 2 front flips and landed smack dab on top of Mei-Ling. Then Lily did 3 cartwheels and blasted off high into the air. When she came down, she made a perfect 4-paw landing on top of the world's tallest tower of Frenchies. And that's when a little problem arose. Mei-Ling felt the Frenchy tower start to sway, a little to the right and a little to the left. Are you doing okay, Bubba, she asked. I think so, said Bubba, his knees feeling a little wobbly. Lily, how about you? Can you reach? Lily stretched and stretched as far as her Frenchy paw would stretch, and I can't quite reach, said Lily. I need some help. Bubba could feel his Bubba knees getting wobblier and wobblier, and his Bubba ears could hear the little white mail truck getting closer and closer. He knew that time was running out, and he knew what he had to do. He had to convince the monkey toy not to be naughty, just this once. Monkey toy, said Bubba kindly but firmly, we need your help. The monkey toy pointed at himself, surprised that Bubba was talking to him. Me, said the monkey toy, his eyes as big as polka dots. Yes, you, monkey toy, you can do it, said Bubba. The monkey toy looked into Bubba's eyes. You trust me? Asked the monkey toy. Bubba looked into the monkey toy's eyes. Yes, I trust you, said Bubba. And that's when something truly amazing happened. For the first time in his life, the monkey toy didn't feel naughty. He felt like he could be trusted. And it felt good. Okay, Bubba, said the monkey toy, I will try. Good, said Bubba. You and the baby reindeer can do it together. That's all the monkey toy needed to hear. In a flash, he grabbed the baby reindeer's stubby tail and swung himself up onto his velvety antlers. Without missing a beat, the baby reindeer gave his antlers a quick flip, and the monkey toy went flying high to the top of the big blue mailbox. From there, the monkey toy pushed open the little door with his paws. Then Lily stretched and stretched just far enough to drop the envelope inside. And at that moment, Bubba's wobbly knees gave out completely, and he and Mei-Ling and Nico and Lily collapsed into a giggling pile of Frenchies, just as the little white mail truck came sliding to a stop next to the big blue mailbox. Chapter 10. For the next 2 sleeps, Bubba and the baby reindeer and the monkey toy waited, and waited, and waited. Each morning they would wake up hoping Santa had come the night before, but he didn't come, not yet anyway. Luckily, Bubba was an unusually optimistic Frenchie. He knew that Santa was coming. It was only a matter of time. So he used the time he and the baby reindeer had together to become really good friends. Each morning, the baby reindeer would eat his gently used green leafy moss and mushroom pizza out of Bubba's bowl. Then Bubba would eat his special Bubba Kibble for sensitive Frenchy tummies. After that, they would go outside and play in Bubba's snow fort and chase each other around the frozen fountain in the backyard. And each night, Bubba would tuck his monkey toy into the toy box where his monkey toy slept. Then Bubba and the baby reindeer would snuggle into Bubba's fleecy cave bed and quickly fall asleep. But even while they slept, Bubba's ears would stay wide awake, listening very carefully. Then late on the third night, he heard it. The baby reindeer didn't hear it. The monkey toy didn't hear it. But Bubba's very big ears heard it quite clearly. It was Santa's sleigh, and it was headed this way. Bubba opened his eyes and looked over at the baby reindeer sleeping next to him. A few seconds later, Santa's sleigh slid to a stop on top of the bungalow. Bubba gently nudged his new friend with his short Frenchy nose. "Wake up, he's here," said Bubba softly. The baby reindeer's eyes popped wide open. They got even wider when he heard the grown-up reindeer on the roof jingle their bells. The sound made him wag his stubby reindeer tail. But then it stopped wagging. He looked over at Bubba, blinked twice, and made a soft baby reindeer sigh. He sure was going to miss his new friend. Bubba sighed a big Bubba sigh. He felt the same way. "Goodbye, baby reindeer. I sure am going to miss you," Bubba said. The grown-up reindeer on the roof jingled their bells a little louder, and the baby reindeer knew it was time to go. So he nuzzled Bubba with his soft velvety nose, and Bubba nuzzled him back. Then the baby reindeer slipped out of the fleecy cave bed, ran up the stairs and out Bubba's doggy door, right into Santa's waiting arms. Now the Bubba bungalow was quiet again. The monkey toy hopped into the fleecy cave bed next to Bubba so he wouldn't be lonely, and Bubba started to drift off to sleep. For a moment, he thought he could hear the baby reindeer's little hooves dancing around the big Christmas tree upstairs, and that made his stubby Bubba tail wag. But Bubba knew that was probably just a dream, a wonderful, happy dream. So he wagged his stubby tail a few more times, then drifted off to a very deep and a very happy sleep. Chapter 10.5. The next morning, Bubba woke up to his mom calling his name. "Bubba," she called from the sunroom. "Come quick, you have a present." Bubba flew out of his fleecy cave bed like he was shot out of a canyon. He was up the stairs and sliding to a stop in front of the big Christmas tree in 2 seconds flat. "I don't know how we missed it the first time," Bubba's mom said, shaking her head. And that's when Bubba saw it. A brand new antler wrapped in a big green bow. The best Christmas present ever. That is all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight from the BSP. Bubba, Bubba's dad, and I all want to wish you the happiest of holidays and a new year filled with peace and joy. Thanks again. Say good night, Bubba. Good night, Bubba. Good night, Bubba.